Welcome to our Cleancast today. Thanks for joining us. Today's topic is 20 habits of eventual millionaires. Now, I'd like to be able to give you those and let you know that I thought them all up and by golly they worked. But no, I actually am taking this and reading it from the author who is James Altucher. He came up with 20 habits of eventual millionaires, and I'd like to share those with you today and see how many of those you have and how many of those maybe need to be developed. So here was the number one habit of eventual millionaires: learn to say no. You know, many times as you go up, and we talk about in some of our podcasts, we talk about being stubborn, being, you know it all, so you'll just come on, bring me your problems. I'll do them. But you have to learn to say no. You have to know when you need to be involved and when you don't. Number 2 was love. He says this is the only religion. This is the only thing worth surrendering to. How about that? This is the fuel for your idea muscles. Love. So now we got learn to say no and love. Number 3, make mistakes. Mistakes are the spell books of success. And I remember, and I don't remember who told me this years and years ago, but mistakes, the only people who never make mistakes are the people who never try anything. You can't go out and try something and not probably make a mistake along the way, but you learn from that. And I always think of Thomas Edison. Before the electric light came along, he had 1,700 misses before he got one yes. So he made mistakes. Look what we have today. We have lighting. Number 4, and this is very important: plant seeds. He says basic garden math is this: 1% of the seeds turn into 50% of the flowers. So he said plant lots of seeds. And what he's saying there is about 2% of the seeds are going to be, get you some flowers. And isn't it that way in our business? Got to keep planting the seeds so that we got people. And that's why I am so adamant with my clients when I say you've got to do this. And we always start kind of with an executive brief. I say you got to send them out every Friday without fail. I don't care if you just sold 3 more buildings to start next month. If you don't send them out this Friday, 90 days from now, you're going to wish you had. It's just that simple. So, I thought this was here's a couple of interesting ones. Number 5, be around people who are kind to you and love you. Other people will make you unhappy, unkind, and unsuccessful. So are you staying around people who are kind to you and love you? How about the next one? Stand next to the smartest person in the room. I thought this was a great one. He said, Harold Ramis did it, Bill Murray, Stephen Jobs did it, Craig Silverstein did it, Kanye West did it. I make money only when I do this, he says. If you're around the smartest people in the room, you're probably going to learn something. If you're just around people telling stories, you're probably going to be telling stories. Number 7, no excuses. Blaming is draining. Complaining is draining, he says. Explaining is draining, he says. We don't have enough inner plumbing for all that draining. I thought that was pretty good. So don't quit making excuses. If you did it, you did it. Anyway, number 8, don't be in a rush. Every overnight success I've spoken to took 10 to 20 years to get there. But only if they celebrated small successes along the way. And I couldn't help but think of some of the popular artists, recording artists today. I can remember watching some of them being interviewed by the people that had the show, and they would say, "Gosh, you just overnight you had this hit record, and man, you've become popular." And I can still remember, some of particularly the popular country stars, like Garth Brooks and some of those who said, "Yeah, I did, except we've not talked about the 10 years I played the bars that where the drunks were throwing bottles at me. I became an overnight success. It only took 10 years. And that's the way it is a lot of times in our business too, isn't it? We have to plant the seeds so that you can move on. Don't be in a rush. Number 9, solve difficult gratitude problems. If you can find a diamond in the mud, you're going to end up with a lot of diamonds in life. And this reminds me of the podcast or the cleancast that we've done about the millionaire. Don't go looking for the dirt, go looking for the gold, go looking for the diamonds. Solve different gratitude problems. And then he said there was Warren Buffett's, number 10 was Warren Buffett's 525 rule. Make a list of the 25 things you want to do in life. Now he says do the top 5. And never think about the other 20 ever again. Else they will take away from the 5 that are the most important to you. You ever thought about that? We make a list of all these things that we have to do. Are they really that important to do? Do we really need to be doing those? He said the 525. Make a list of the 25 things you want to do. Then record them in order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Throw away the other 20 and concentrate on the 5. Number 11. Write down 10 ideas a day. This actually turns into a superpower. Do this for 6 months straight and see what happens. Try that. I haven't done that. I write ideas, but I don't know that I've ever done 10 a day. Man, if I did 10 a day, 5 days a week, that's 50 of them. That's, what is that? That's 260, 220 a week, a month, times 6 months. I'd have 1,320 or so ideas. Follow up. Number 12. I'm shy and bad at this, and lazy. Send an email the next day with an idea on the next step. I have to do this. This guy's talking about how he's shy and really bad at it. He's lazy. Send an email the next day after a meeting with an idea on the next step. Number 13 is ask questions. There are more questions than answers. Opportunities are buried in the questions. Facts can be outsourced. Think about that. Facts can be outsourced. Opportunities are in the questions. Then number 14 is do better at what you do. Whatever you want to get better at, do 1% more each day. 1% a day compounded is $3,800. 3,800% a year. In other words, if you want to get better at something, do 1% more each day. That compounded over a year's time is you will improve by 3,800%. You win. I'm thinking about that. Even if you did a 0.5%, that's still 1,900% better than you were. Number 15. Right now, regret will waste time today worrying about yesterday, and anxiety will steal energy from the future. Focus on now. I thought that was a good one. Regret will waste time today worrying about yesterday. Anxiety will steal energy from the future. In fact, focus on right now. Number 16, sleep. Sleep rejuvenates the brain cells, leads the body, heals the body, reduces anxiety, and your brain is only active 2 to 5 hours a day. Sweet dreams. I thought that was interesting. Your brain is really only active 2 to 5 hours a day. I'm sure that we've all met somebody that we felt their brain was never active. And I'm sure people have met me and say, is Dick's brain active today? But think about that. 2 to 5 hours a day is the only time we're really active. And one of the things I've talked about for years is finding out and determining what those 2 to 5 hours are, and then doing most of your work during that time. Because I can give you the hours in the day that I am just no good. I ain't thinking. But anyway, okay. Number 17. Every day, avoid death. Well, there's a pretty good one. You can't get rich from a hospital bed or a grave. Move every day sleep well, eat well. The eat well part I've never had a problem with. Number 18, do one thing every day you loved as a kid. This is usually the fuel that can power your life. What did you do as a kid that you liked to do and maybe haven't been doing lately? I just thought as I was reading this over to present as this clean cast, I thought of what I did as a kid that I loved to do and haven't done for many, many years, and this will surprise a lot of people. I love to play pinball machines. And I haven't played one in years, so he said if you do that, maybe you ought to buy a pinball machine, put it in my home, and play it a little bit every day. Man, I used to play it, and I won, and in fact, my parents had the one and only restaurant in the little town that I grew up, and they had one pinball machine. I would get my chores done, and then I would go play the pinball machine, and finally my dad sometimes would have to come and unplug the machine because I'd build up 85 free games and all that. But I was pretty good. But I love to play them. I just love to play them. And so anyway, that was number 18. And that was the end. He says, wait, I thought there were 20. Well, secret to success. Give yourself permission to sometimes be wrong. So he says 20 habits of eventual millionaires. But he gets to 18, and then when we say where are the others, he says, give yourself permission to sometimes be wrong. You know. So there you have it. I guess 18 habits of eventual millionaires. How many of those are you good at? How many of those are you abiding by? How many of those need help? Think about it. Very interesting information. Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.